Good evening. It is Friday, April 14th, 2023. We are back with birthdays and events. Let's start off with a few events real quickly. A lot of first-time winners today and notable events. Starting in 1984, Ron Bouchard wins the late model sportsman, now Xfinity Series race at Darlington, his first career win in that series. He only has 2 wins in that series, and they both came at Darlington in 1984. The following year, on this date in 1985 at Darlington, Bill Elliott wins. No surprise there for the 1985 season, but it is the last race for Petty Enterprises under Maurice's Petty's ownership, as the team folded after this race because of lack of sponsorship. Petty Enterprises would be rebuilt in 1986 with Richard Petty going back to head up the team. 1991 at Bristol, Rusty Wallace wins a wacky race. Go watch this race on YouTube. 1991 Valleydale meets 500. Rusty wins in a pretty good battle with Ernie Irvan there at the end. This is the race that Sterling Marlin has the bad crash where his car bursts into flames and he's burnt. But they have a really, really wacky set of pit rules that allowed Rusty to basically be given an easy win that day. And if people lose their minds over rule changes now, go watch this race, and this is one time that this set of pit rules happened. Imagine the blowback NASCAR would get if they do something like that today. 1996 on this date, Terry Labonte wins at North Wilkesboro. No big thing there. I didn't take the time to look it up because I just literally look at the events and try to remember what I can about them. But I believe this is the race where Terry Labonte ties Richard Petty's 513 consecutive start streak, and they commemorated it with a platinum-colored car, very boring-looking. It was literally a primer gray paint job with the Kellogg's decaling. They would also run this paint scheme the following week at Martinsville when he would break Richard's record. 2001 on this date, not a big event, but another first-time winner, Greg Biffle, wins his first Busch Series race at Nashville. And in 2013, Kyle Larson wins his first career Truck Series race at Rockingham. So with that being said, we are on to our birthdays, 2.5 minutes into the show. I don't have a date for this one, but born on this date, Mr. Steve Burns. And we all remember him, the former Fox pit reporter who passed away of cancer a number of years ago, and they still talk about him all the time on the program, and I believe his son helps out now and then. Can't think of his name right off the top of my head, but Steve Burns was an awesome pit reporter. He also co-hosted the show Inside Winston Cup Racing in the late 80s with Ned Jarrett. That was a really, really good show. Born on this date in 1960, sprint car ace Dan Drinan. Midwesterners will know that name. Born on this date in 1957, short track ace Johnny Rumley, who has 2 Xfinity Series wins to his credit, one at Hickory and one at Dover. So we're going to go to the card birthdays right now. Born on this date in 1981, and the only reason I pulled it out is because I had it available. He only made 11 Truck Series starts, but Craig Goss. I thought this was just a really random card, a really random birthday, and I had it off to the side, and I seen the name pop up. I was like, well, that gives us content. Gives you guys something to look at. Born on this date in 1984, part of a famous racing family. I'm sorry, born on this date in 1964, not 1984. 1964, famous racing family, Mr. Jeff Andretti. Of course, he is the son of Mario, the brother of Michael. And there we have, we have the Canadian and the English, or the French-Canadian and the English versions of these. I guess it's French, not French-Canadian. But Jeff is the younger brother of Michael, son of Mario, cousin of Jeff, and uncle of Marco. I thought it was really funny in 1991, and you'll see it here in this next photo. John is the only one that doesn't have Haviland sponsorship. He's the Pennzoil out of place Andretti here. So next up on our list, born in 1942. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to lose my monetization, but born on this date in 1942, Richard Brooks, because that's what Ken Squire would always call him. Longtime driver, raced in the 70s, 60s, all the way up to 80. We talked about the 1985 Darlington race a few minutes ago that Petty Enterprises was in. Morgan Shepherd was in that car for the last race. Well, when they started the season, Brooks was in the car. And Brooks is the only driver in NASCAR history to qualify a Petty Enterprises car over 200 miles an hour. So a little tidbit there. Got 291 tracks here, black and white lettering. So you got to look for those variations in the 91 tracks. As you can see, they're both one's not glossy, one's not matte. Just Trax was going through some growing pains and had a lot of variations, errors, etc., etc. And our final birthday today, and we're just going to rapid fire through his cards. Born on this date, 1964, same day as Jeff Andretti, Indiana's own Mr. Tony Raines. Of course, we're going to see a lot of different teams here. That's, Hall of Fame Racing, Troy Aikman, and a few others with the 96 car DLP and Texas Instruments. Of course, Terry Labonte and J.J. Yaley would also drive this car at times. I believe Yaley replaced Raines when they went to Toyota to get the Gibbs satellite team affiliation. There he is driving for, I believe, KHI in the Truck Series. Driving for Base Motorsports 2003 as a rookie. Had one top 10 finish at Rockingham in the fall of that season. But Tony was a serviceable driver. He had one Truck Series win. I believe he was driving for Kurt Rourke, and it was at I-70 or Odessa Speedway, one of the early tracks in the Truck Series. Drove for Kevin Harvick a lot. Had a lot of unique sponsors. I know they have the Outdoor Channel for a minute as one of their sponsors. But I just think Tony never did get a good deal. He drove for Front Row for a little bit in the Xfinity Series. There's the Outdoor Network car, I think. Nope, it's not, but it's the same. Yeah, there it is. Look on his shoulder, Outdoor Channel. So I knew that was one of their sponsors. There's a good look at the Outdoor Channel. But I think Tony could have been... He was not going to be a top driver. I think he should have stuck it out in the Truck Series a little bit longer. He probably could have got some more wins there. But his Xfinity Series and Cup Series career, he just had some bad breaks and bad timing and etc., etc. But at any rate, and he was a teammate at Base Motorsports with Randy LaJoie because he drove the 33 Kleenex car for a minute. I forgot about that one. But anyway, that wraps up our events and birthdays for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Lots of stuff to get covered today, so just about out of breath here. So thanks again for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and we will see you tomorrow.